Shit. Alright, what is going on, everyone? I believe we are live. Let me check. We are. So, did a little bit of a makeover, do-over type thing. Just waiting on on YouTube to catch up. The internet can totally see me now. Awesome. So, we're live. Just gonna tuning in for another market update. Yes, I did shave part of the beard off. I've been wearing an N95 mask, right? And you don't get the full benefit with a beard, so stayed with a mustache. I kind of feel like a Chuck Norris, a little darker Chuck Norris, you know, kind of like Pablo Escobar with a mustache. It feels okay 2 days in. It looks awkward from the side, it looks good from the front. We're not going to dive into it, we're going to dive into the charts instead. The title of tonight's stream is when dump, right? When are we gonna dump? Bulls have kind of been in charge recently, more recently, since the drop, right? We know perma bears. Everybody knows a perma bear. Everybody knows, people that aren't perma bears that are currently being perma bears, and they're all underwater. They're all stuck. They're all, if they're not liquidated, they bought higher. Ironically, we know a few that accidentally bought BTC at 5K because they had bids and they ended up selling it at 6, thinking we're going to 3. I was saying that's a bad idea, hang on to it because we're coming off like a year-long run from 2019. So we go to the daily, right? We were in a year-long uptrend, and here we see a liquidity grab, and it's best to take advantage of it. There was that rising wedge, which brought in more bear hopium, right? Everybody was like, rising wedge, short the wedge targets of 4K. We didn't quite see that, right? We didn't see that. We saw BTC continue up. That wedge, right, kind of resulted in a descending broadening wedge afterwards. And now we're looking at something really interesting, right? We're almost at the 61.8. And you guys know that's been my target for some time, right? Why am I calling it a descending broadening wedge? Because it absolutely is, right? That's what these wedges do. They break up to the upside. They're a 5 count and breaking out. Currently meeting some resistance here, right? If you're at a throw on Phantom, the 4 hour, the chart's still, it's 24. The 4 hour. The chart is at Phantom's 4 hour resistance. We had hedge 30% here. Still don't have a stop on it. I haven't added to my hedge yet. I do think that we are going to go up to the 61.8, 78, 80, 78, 70. You guys can see I have an alert here, right? So I think Santa Fe. I don't know how I feel about looking like narcos, but narcos are badasses. Everybody wants to be a narco. Either that or what's that one movie where the guy busts up the narcos? Infiltrator, I think that's what it's called. It's a real good movie. I saw it on a plane a few years ago. I was going up to New York back in like 2018, I think, 2017. Good movie, The Infiltrator. So, here we're, I'm looking for that 7888 tap. I really want to see that happen. And that's where I'm going to go in, 70% hedge, 80% hedge, maybe a full hedge, even go short. I'm not expecting a big dump, right? Because conversely, fundamentals on BTC have never been so strong, like since inception. And if we can't get rid of Phantom or just hide it for a bit and we stretch our fibs out, right? If we do this and we look for the 61.8 on the entire year, we could potentially shoot up to 9K, 10K, right? And that's my alternate 61.8. I posted these two this morning. I posted these two this morning. And ironically, there's a lot of shorts that have they're underwater. I don't know if they plan on covering or getting liquidated, right? I don't know if they plan on just stomping out and getting licked. But we all know people that shorted, right? And if they're still in here, if they're still trying to short here and the chart actually does start to rally, nine that, and if we do get that close above 78.80, right? So if my previous fib doesn't reject, if we get up to above 78.80, maybe like go to like 79, close above 79, at that point, um, I'm looking for 99, right? 10 back to that 10K mark before going that short again. So, you know, we're getting close. We're getting close. I'm just going to leave both fibs overlaid. But you guys know how I feel about a big dump, right? Anytime after a big dump, that's when I'm looking for the move for the higher high. Because that's just what we've done historically, right? Anytime we get these big sell-offs, which we label as liquidity grabs because the market's liquidating everybody, we get, you know, liquidity grab, new high, liquidity grab, new high, liquidity grab, new high, liquidity grab, new high, right? So, I mean, going short here, right, on the way up before the 61.8, that was the equivalent of like shorting this candle, right? You know, and long term after such a big down move for no reason other than all the other markets crashed. And alternatively, a lot of other assets, like the S&P is close to 61.8. Look at these weekly closes, right? It is a descending broadening wedge, and if we do make it to that 99K mark, that's 61.8. That's a different story because it's sort of above that resistance going off the candles, right? Going off the closes. So weekly close above is going to be super bullish. Are we actually mooning? We're sort of mooning. We're going up, man. All right. That covers BTC. Let's go over ETH USD. I was looking for 213 for several reasons. And you also highlighted, I posted this today, you know, saying we're sort of starting to wedge. And I think it was the 4 hour that kind of shows the beauty of shorting the wrong wedge, right? You guys remember last Ether rally, we were long from 135. Was it here? Right? Right here, right? I saw this flag set up. We got stopped out, and I said bid 35 if you get stopped. We rode that up, right? We didn't. I think we hedged here, and on the second break, we just let it go. So a lot of people are eyeing this as another rising wedge, and you know, a lot of times it doesn't work out in the favor of bears. So my next, you know, spot looking to hedge is 203. I posted that today, this morning. I said, hey, don't fucking short. So we get up to this area. It kind of matches trend lines and fibs. And then if you're going to go off the 61.8 off that very last rally, right? I think we're looking for 213. Yep, we are, right? And from there, you know, we'll get a secondary assessment, right? That wasn't even, that wasn't the, that was a 2020 rally. It wasn't even the previous one, right? If you go to last year's rally, which is like the higher target on BTC, the 10K target, that'll put us at 250, 260. All right, that about covers ETH USD, ETH BTC, and BTC USD. I'm gonna go over ETH BTC. Go back to that Bittrex chart. Haven't changed much on this chart layout. Looking at the 3-day, guys. Looking at the 3-day. We're still above that trend line, right? We're still above that trend line. We're still looking for this wedge break, and it was also a descending broadening one too. And I think that was, where are you? Right, we're not quite at that resistance yet. I'm gonna get out of here. We're above resistance on the 3-day. We're above resistance on the daily. What's the weekly doing? You know, we had a weekly open above, which is interesting, right? Now this is the second week above. Hopefully, you start getting that rally that we all want to see. That's going to be a major push, right? That's going to be a major push. You know, the targets at 61.8 is pretty high. as for the wedge, the descending broadening, it's over here, right? So just kind of like two cascading bullish formations. I do want to see another up move. Of course, there are targets on the way up there. We're not just going to shoot straight up. Let's look at this set of fibs. I want to see price back up, right? I mean, we want to take out that last high, that's for sure. And get in a continuation mode. All right, here we go. Here we go. All right, so I mean, this is area of interest. I want to likely add to my hedge. 78, 79. We're already there. All right, almost there. You guys have any questions for me? Anybody? Facebook, YouTube? You guys on Facebook are awfully quiet. You want me to look at any altcoins? I haven't signaled very many alts recently. I did signal WRX a few days ago, I think yesterday or today. And wham, bam, right? Already past target 1. We're shooting up with BTC. Beautiful. I did say scale out of Tezos. Looks like it's on its way down slightly. So the 15-minute phantom is going to want to hedge up here, right? It does. One thing we can be looking for is a move down here, like a liquidity grab here, or liquidation down to 74. I think it's going to happen. Hopefully the chart holds up there. If it does not, that's going to be trouble, right? But then again, we saw a lot of these breakouts go up. Previous breakouts go up and then do a big wick down before the real breakout happened. That's just kind of been the motto with Q1. So yeah, if you guys are using Phantom, you know, right now, like the 15-minute, 30-minute charts should be fairly good. Throwing on a harmonic scan. We did have a deep crab that was up in the 82 range. 15. Turn off Phantom. 60 maybe. Yeah, right. So there's a deep crab up here, all the way up to the AK with a stop at 82. A lot of possible plays. You know, we've been long. My last long signal was down here, 67, 68, and I'm just kind of, you know, you're trading the bigger move. I'm not trying to scalp anything. Not trying to overtrade. Just letting the market do the work. Because I do believe we're on our way up to 61.8. We're going to get there. And when we get there, we'll take care of it. All right. Show me some questions, guys, gals, everybody. This is your time to ask away. Once again, you know, there's a few other patterns that'll complete up in the 79, right? So there's a 3D, which is a 3 drive, right? That's going to be bearish. That stops at 83.96. So I do think we're going to see this move up here, right? I do think so. QDM XLM EOS. I'm going to go over the BTC charts if you don't specify otherwise. Let's look at the daily. Man, like there's some moving averages on it. On the daily, I mean, it looks like it's trying to do some kind of bull break, right? Kind of like one of these moves. Wouldn't trust alt so much right now, especially if BTC runs. So I mean, if you do get a move to 26, I'd be out of any altcoin that's not strong. Lumens. So Lumens already did this move, right? Already did. Let's get out of MAs. Go back to like Phantom, the Suite. This is looking very like bottom mask, where we get like a compound double bottom type, triple bottom. It's above resistance. Lumens looks pretty good, man. Where's the 61.8 here? It's currently trying to close above, right? If it stays above the 61.8, then I'd want to see it run up to like, 10.55, right? I haven't traded lumens in some time, so we kind of want to see it move up to this range, a 10.55 range, and that's what I'd be looking for. Let's see if you can identify a harmonic, anything else in between the lines. 240. No. But yeah, look for a retest here and potentially continuation up. I think we're gonna go up on the halving, right? I think we're gonna go up regardless of the halving. I think we're gonna go up because fundamentally speaking, every country is printing a lot of money, right? The US is talking about sending $2,000 per citizen per month. Right, it's $24,000 a year, guys. Like, they're paying everybody a really low base salary. That's a lot of money being printed. That's going to cause hyperinflation, right? Money's going to flow into non-inflationary assets. We're already seeing gold value, right? So, I think gold's up maybe 30% on the year. BTC can do 30% in one day, right? So I'm looking for an up move. Daily chart high to low fib would be 50%. That's an interesting question. Let's go over EOS and Raven, and I'll get to that. I'm not seeing momentum on EOS. I don't know. I don't hold EOS. I don't trade EOS. You guys know I don't hold much. You know, Zcoin is something that I stake. All right. I don't hold anything. I mean, this thing can start pumping at any time, but it just not interested. I'd be interested in a case where, you know, we do get this bull break right on MAs before. I mean, it could still range. Not a fan. ADA started popping today out of nowhere. Right, you see those like bull breaks on the daily? And they can be also misleading. Like we saw several fake outs here, and now it's sort of at target. I don't know if I'd short it. I'd wait for something that I would say is tradable before I enter it, right? And you guys can do whatever you want. You want to FOMO into something, that's on you. Going over Raven, I did add to my Raven bag after profit taking Tezos. I do think Raven has kind of been very dormant recently, and you know, it's in that buy zone on Phantom. We haven't seen it all do this in a while, and it did what would qualify as a liquidity grab. I mean, we had this support for so long, right? Then it broke it, and that's an interesting spot for entry right after breaking the support. Now we should expect a rally just because everybody's been stopped out. All these guys, everybody that was like, oh, this is bottom, you know, I'm gonna put my stop under this wick. You got, you know, liquidity. It's below the previous range. All right, going over BTC's daily chart, and you said low to high fib. So the way I would use a low to high fib would be if we start retracing, right? If we start dumping again, and on an up impulse, right? So I don't know if this is what you're trying to identify, but when you're doing a low to high, you want to go your recent low to your recent high. That's when you're looking for the 50, right? So looking for the 50 would be like going low to here, high to here, and now you're looking for a 50 or a 61.8. That's the 61.8, right? And we can go like to a more recent high, more recent low, and then you're still gonna get, you know, reliable 50, reliable 61.8. That first bounce off the 61, second, third one, you know, once we got that close, the inverse head and shoulders, it just went on a rally. So that's how I would use. But okay, high to low fib, that's a different story. Remove drawings. Now what you're doing is you're fibbing a retracement as well, but also more of a bearish retracement, right? Because the last impulse move, that's a really good question. The last impulse move was down, right? And now we're retracing back into the impulse. We did a 23%, we did a 38%, we're at a 50%, right? Now we're going up to 68. Now, would you use 50% in entry around 9,000? The 50% is not, 50% is here at 7K. 23, 38, 50, 61, 78. Right, that's the 50 and that's the 61. So your 50% fib is not going to be anywhere near 9K unless you're talking about a bigger move. Unless you're talking about this last retracement, which is my alternate, right? I'd say that posted that alternate this morning. Alternate 61 is at 10K. You know, I wouldn't. I mean, you could enter here, maybe not on the first touch, right? But if you go up to like 88, do some kind of formation, and then retest, you could take the 88 up to 9K. I mean, your settings can be different, but I wouldn't fib any differently, man. Alright guys, that about wraps up my what I have. If you guys don't have any further questions, try to keep these streams short and sweet because I've been streaming, you know, 3-4 times a week. Let me see your chart and savagery. Oh man, it's a lot of data. Okay, and that kind of matches up sort of with my 50 and 61. All right, what chart are you using? What exchange? So I mean that sort of lines up with my 50 and 61. And as I said today, right, a lot of these exchanges are going to have different swing low pricing. So if you look at like BTC USD Coinbase, identifying these 61.8s is going to be almost a nightmare because on the drop, our swing low is not the same across all exchanges. right? This swing lows at 38 on Coinbase. You see that? But then on BitMEX, it's like $200 lower. It was 35.80 or so. So you're gonna have different 61.8s depending on different pricing depending on the chart you're trading, and that's gonna make this whole cycle a lot trickier to trade. Another thing to look out for, right? I have this circled on this chart, and I dropped this chart in chat yesterday. We're doing something like this, right? Where the next leg up could be the squeeze, could be the explosive one. Like this was a disbelief rally, right? Whenever we broke up from 5K to 9, like people were in pure disbelief. And one thing I've been saying this whole time, when you're over in 5K, I'm like, guys, disbelief candles to 61, disbelief candles to 77. And the bears were like chuckling at it. Now a lot of the bears aren't even available for comment. Anyways, that about wraps up this stream for tonight. You guys kind of have my input. I'm looking for a 7,800 mark for a possible rejection, and then the next, if we don't get there, if you push above 8K, right, and then I'm looking for a bigger move to 10. Title of this stream: When Dump. Those are the possibilities. Can't tell you a timeline, but I can tell you where the 61.8 is. If you don't know why it's relevant, you should look into 61.8 retracements. Alright, fam bam. Thank you for tuning into the streams. Stay COVID safe. Wear your face mask. Make sure to join Discord. I'm actually dropping a really interesting COVID link in the channel. I'm going to do that just if you're interested. There was a study done on a U.S. prison population, and I think out of 30, I'll drop it in. There's like 3,600 people tested positive out of like 4,000, and 96% of them did not have symptoms. So a lot of us can have COVID, you just don't show symptoms, right? And yeah, so really interesting numbers coming out. Hopefully you guys' quarantine's over soon and you can go back to normal life, and if not,